Today I fucked up because I finally learned how to wipe my butt. I asked my girlfriend the other day, why do the doors of the bathroom stalls have space on the bottom? She told me they're like that so we can easily see if the stall is occupied or not in a ~tilde tone. I followed up by saying, but sometimes, people can see my butt. She started laughing her butt off and asking why/how. So I had to explain why my butt was so low to the ground. I wipe my butt after pooping by taking a step forward off the toilet and squatting really low. I then argued with her that my wiping method is normal until she showed me a link to and I was shocked. We were both curious where/how I even learned that from. Was it a potty training error? Apparently not. We asked my parents, sibling, grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles if they wipe their butt by squatting too, but no one does that except for me. So, I've been wiping my butt and mooning hundreds of people in bathroom stalls for 20 years of my life. #dead. Too long didn't read. For 20 years, I squatted all the way to the ground after pooping in order to wipe my butt. We asked my parents, sibling, grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles if they wipe their butt by squatting too, but no one does that except for me. Well, that must have been interesting. Parent, sobbing into toilet paper. Where did we go wrong? I don't care what that website says, using one square of paper is risky as fuck. Risky hell. Destined for a finger poke through. Then you got poop on your finger and a molested anus. Lol. Someone out there is on the toilet, reading this, and weighing their options. Edit, wow, my first gold. Thanks, kind stranger. Who knew it'd be for a toilet reference? There's a guy at my work that pulls his pants and underpants down to his knees when he pisses in the urinal. Whiters hanging out for everyone. Edit, good lord, there's a lot of weirdos in this world and thank you for the gold. That's a total toddler move. Probably learned it at 2 and haven't updated his habits since. My ex would get off the toilet, turn around, and then wipe while standing from back to front. After realizing how he did it, and him telling me he found shit smeared on his dick, I stopped giving him oral. So gross? That's the leading cause of shit breath. Today I fucked up as a reaction to butt worms, almost certainly NSFW. This is the reason people create throwaways, but screw it, it happened. Also, this occurred a little over a decade ago, which will eventually be pertinent. For background, at some point in my childhood, I developed pinworms. In the interest of science, I must admit that I don't know for certain that I had pinworms, just that my mother, who was 17 when she had me in the 70s and loved home remedies, had seen me scratching my bottom, for good or bad reasons concluded that I had pinworms, and instructed me to shove a clove of garlic into my anus in order to stop the little beasties. I'm afraid that I don't know if the garlic helped, or if there was any other remedy. All I remember is that as a young child I walked around for the better part of day with a piece of garlic shoved up my bum, and I don't remember spending most of my childhood with an itchy asshole. Fast forward a decade and a half, I am living on my own, single, reacclimating to the dating scene after an awkward breakup with an ex that everyone I am still close to refers to as she who must not be named. I don't remember the exact moment of realization, but there was a gradual dawning. I had worms. My butt was beyond normally itchy. Sometimes it didn't faze me, but there was a reoccurring itch that couldn't be sent away once it arrived. The confirmation came when I showered and cleaned my bottom, to discover on my finger a half-dozen tiny, white, croissant-shaped worms who had apparently been residing on the outside of my butthole. I hoped they would go away. I showered multiple times a day, scouring my ass with cleanser as best as possible, even venturing the occasional soap-covered finger up my bum to clean out the system. But every morning, I would wake up, take a shower, and discovered more tiny beasties. I was horrified, but I made an appointment at my local clinic. When I told the nurse over the phone that I thought I had butt worms, she was extremely /skeptical. She said it was highly unlikely, but they would do tests. I went in, embarrassed as a naked nun in Sunday school, and the doctor, a friendly Southeast Indian man, reiterated the nurse's skepticism, could not find anything amiss when he peered up my bum, but asked me to send in a sample of the worms when they appeared and they would test. I was already frustrated, but I waited until the next morning, gathered up a collection of the white aliens by pressing a row of scotch tape against my asshole, confirmed the beasties were present, and deposited them in a plastic container. Later I drove the sample to the office, and was told it would be 1 to 3 weeks before I would get results. In the meantime, I remembered the old remedy, bought a garlic bulb from our local health food store, and shoved a clove up my bottom. I would like to say that as a liberal American male, I wouldn't have any issue, but after 4 to 5 hours talking to coffee stewards, waiters, and business associates and pretending that I did not have a foreign object shoved up my rectum, I dashed to a restroom and removed the clove, horribly embarrassed, despite no one knowing what I had done. Now to add, I had recently started seeing a wonderful woman. We had completely hit it off. She was a vibrant redhead, curvy, brilliant, and fun. I wanted nothing but to put my best foot forward. A week after depositing the sample to the clinic and no response, she and I found ourselves showering. My hand drifted down to my butt crack and I realized I needed / to share my story with her, despite fears that I would mark myself as tainted and never be talked to again. So I spurted it out. So yeah, I think I have butt worms. She was so practical about it. She asked to see. I pulled apart my cheeks, swiped my fingers between them, and pulled up a few white croissant specks for her to investigate. See, I said, embarrassed. Worms? That's toilet paper, she replied. What? Yeah, she said, nonchalantly. That's toilet paper. Everything fell into place. About a month ago, when finances got tight, I swapped my normal TP roll with dollar store discount brand, which was apparently breaking apart after I wiped, creating croissant-shaped rolls on my bottom that caused itching. My relief was intense, mixed with colossal embarrassment. My shower companion was nothing but amused and gracious. Too long didn't read. I spent the better part of a day with garlic shoved up my bum because I bought cheap toilet paper. Postscript, shower companion, and I just celebrated our 8th-year wedding anniversary. And 30 years from now, you can tell your grandchildren that you knew she was the one when you told her you had worms and garlic in your asshole, and she didn't flinch. Oh, it'll definitely be in the memoirs, smile. If you find someone who is willing to inspect your supposed buttworms without a second thought, it's most likely a keeper. Lesson learned, never go cheap when it comes to toilet paper. Or in the words of RDJ, never go FR with TP. Unexpectedly wholesome at the end. Dare I say, wholesome. I need to know what the doctor said about the results. How can you leave that out? It feels weird to say, but I never got a response. Theoretically they sent it to a lab, asking to test for certain elements, but since I never asked for results, they never bothered to tell me. Today I fucked up by watching my neighbors fight while I was eating popcorn. So I'm a bit of a soccer fan, and today 2 big local teams had a game, so naturally I was watching the match on my living room. Little did I know there was another match going on my neighbor's house. About 10 minutes into my game, I started hearing screams coming from the house across the street. Between the game and the distance between us I really couldn't distinguish any words, so I just raised the volume of my TV and kept watching. During halftime I got a bit hungry and decided to make myself some popcorns. For those of you who don't watch sports, halftimes tend to be a bit long and is just a bunch of commercials, so I lower the volume of the TV as I microwave some popcorn. By this point my neighbors had been fighting for about 30 minutes, and just as I take the popcorns out of the microwave I hear some doors slamming. Curiosity got the better of me, so I went to my balcony to see what was the scope of the fight in case I had to call the cops of something. Now I have 2 dogs, so I didn't want it to leave my popcorn bag unattended on the couch, so I brought it with me. So here I am, staring from my balcony at the 40-year-old married couple who took the fight outside. For the looks of it the wife had kicked the husband out of the house. By now I could tell what the fight was about, nothing too dramatic as to add spice to the story or so I thought. Suddenly she slapped him hard on the face, which made him turn as I gasped dramatically, which made them both look up into my balcony. Now try to see this from their perspective. They've been fighting for over 30 minutes, yelling and slamming doors, and just as they took their fight outside they see their gay gossip-loving neighbor with a big bag of popcorn looking from their balcony. This got them furious, as if defying the laws of physics. Their faces turned redder than they already were, and they both took their frustration at me, yelling me all sorts of things. Enjoying the show, you. I honestly decided to take one for the team and kept putting popcorn into my mouth as they were yelling at me because it seemed to stop their fight and join them, as a twisted dysfunctional couple once again. They both flipped the finger at me as walked inside. Can you believe this fucking guy? The wife screamed at her husband as he patted her back and closed the door. When I got inside I was too busy laughing to enjoy the rest of the game, but locally my team won 5-2, so all is good in the world. Edit, I know some Redditors don't really like this, but thank you so much for the platinum, gold and silvers and all the positive fun comments I've gotten. You all made my night incredibly fun. It's been a blast reading and replying to all your comments. Also shout out to all the Cruz Azul fans who guessed correctly it was the game I was watching. Edit 2. Many users seem to think this story wasn't a today I fucked up, and it probably isn't a dramatic one. I'd say that ruining my relationship with my neighbors by being on the wrong place at the wrong time with some popcorns was a bit of a fuck up, but at the end of the day isn't a really big loss, as it gave me a blast of a night on Reddit. Too long didn't read. My neighbors were having a big fight while I was watching a soccer game. I went out to check while she slapped her husband as I was holding a big bag of popcorn. My nosing around redirected their anger towards me, and now they're back to being a happy dysfunctional marriage again. Cruz Azul versus America. NVMU said national teams. When you said you continued to eat popcorn even after they turned their anger on you, I laughed so hard. He was doing them a service, obviously. I honestly decided to take one for the team and kept putting popcorn into my mouth. I love you for this. As they were yelling at me because it seemed to stop their fight and join them, as a twisted dysfunctional couple once again. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Eats popcorn in dominance. Let them fight.